Greetings, gentlemen, ladies, old school game snob here, and today we're following up on yesterday's video talking about, hey, dear devs, can we get some expanded inventory in here, please? Now, I wanted to follow up with you guys a little bit and talk about this a little bit more here today. Take a look at our poll. I'm doing a poll. Would you happily pay a little extra for expanded stash space? All right, so there's a few options. Let me know what you guys think. This poll will probably pop up in your home feed at some point. Let me know what you think, and that way the devs can also know, what you think. Here's my theory, guys. Here's my theory. All right, so my theory is that it has been mentioned. It has been mentioned, I believe, by the devs somewhere, that, and we're going to take a look at these comments in just a minute. It has been mentioned, I believe, that it is quote-unquote complicated to expand your stash on a programming level. That's what's been said. That being said, we've already got an expanded inventory, right? We've already got an expanded inventory from the original classic game. We've already got stash tabs. So, I mean, the devs are obviously already working within the stash system, and I really don't believe that it could possibly be difficult to add some additional stash units. Here's my theory, though. Here's my theory. My theory is that it's not difficult to give us more stash units. What may be more complicated is integrating some sort of monetization system into purchasing new stash units. That might be a little more complex in terms of coding, right? Just expanding, I don't think there's anything to that. But I don't think that's what they're thinking to do. I think they're thinking they want to create some sort of transactional system for expanded storage space. So that actually brings me to the poll we're doing here today. Would you happily pay a little extra for expanded stash space? Let the devs know what you think. And I thought we'd take a little look at some of the comments here today. I thought we'd take a look so you guys can get a finger on the pulse of what the community thinks in case you haven't been reading the comments. My opinion is this. What if we did a little compromise? If it's complicated to create a microtransactional system to expand storage space, if you're worried about what the community thinks about charging for sports storage space, and I'm talking to you devs, if you're worried about that, why don't we do a little compromise? I think that the community at large would probably be pretty happy to give you guys, pay some extra money for an expanded stash for ongoing live updates as you guys have been doing. I'm fine. I'm totally happy personally to continue to pay money into a game that I love to play, and it's fun to see get more development and evolution to, right? So you guys will be able to keep your eye on this poll. Throwing this up here, we got some votes already. 10 votes. So far it looks like 80% of people want it for free. 20% of people are happy to pay, but we'll see how this plays out. My thinking was, hey, why not a compromise? Why not a compromise? Can you give us some expanded inventory space on loan? Maybe on loan, right? Can we get it on loan until this microtransactional system goes into play, and then maybe you could say, hey, we'll give you some expanded space. This will eventually be a paid system once we implement all of those things. But in the meantime, it's been more than a year now since D2R has been released, and we're all kind of suffering with our limited storage space. Now, I just basically threw away all of the good items that I've found because I don't want to get into muling with this hardcore character that I'm rolling up. I only saved some very essentials, and yeah, man, there's no space to do anything, right? I just basically threw away tons and tons of quote-unquote good loot, tradable loot, because it's just too much hassle, too much maintenance. Like I say, this is a game about collecting, building collections, building up different characters, and using kind of a family of characters to make it more fun to roll up other characters, right? So expanded stash is really something, in my opinion, that we need now, and I'd pay for it later if you give it to us on loan. Do the easy update, which doesn't require any sort of monetization initially, and say, hey, this is on loan till later, right? If you want to keep it, now you got to pay for it. All right, so we got 14 votes in here. 64% want it free. Looks like the additional percent, or anyway, well, I will do a later video. This has only been 6 minutes so far on this poll. So we'll see where this plays out. I have a feeling we're going to get more in the happily and grudgingly yes, willing to pay category. But we'll see how this plays out. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because the developers and Blizzard are afraid that the community doesn't want to necessarily pay for more expanded stash space, and that's what they want to do. They want to charge us for that expanded stash space because, hey, you got to keep making money if it's sort of a live service game. You can't kind of one purchase and done it and then get infinite, unlimited updates forever. That's kind of not the whole thing. Anyway, let's look at some of the comments, right? I'm gonna butcher this name, Undomiel. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, buddy. Says, I agree with you so much. We need this, and it should be easy to get. Maybe it could be a choice in the game options so that people who want to play the old way can. For now, we have 20 characters. So, Quentin Coralt says, 100% agree. Don't know why this isn't implemented, and doubt that all the mules take less server space. I don't think it has anything to do with server space. There's, in this day and age, there's just no way that a few more items are going to cause any sort of hiccup in the amount of storage space they actually take to keep those database records. Like it's going to be so infinitesimally small. It's like one of the smallest things you can do, size-wise, is have a text document, and that's basically all inventory is a spreadsheet, right? So there's no way that taking up space is a justifiable concern with the terabytes of data that's available to even the everyday person, let alone the big companies. I think, like I say, it has to do with them wanting to find a way to have paid stashes. You know what you guys could do, man? Well, let's do a compromise. Give us an additional, I don't know, twice as much space. Give us 3 times as much space for free. We will still fill up that space, and there will still be that percentage of people that are happy to pay to expand, right? That way you can have the best of both worlds. You can, give it to the community that largely wants it, and, some expanded storage space for free. And then there will be still a bunch of people, myself included, that will happily upgrade and create like really nice collections of items, of all the uniques and the rares and the sets and all the things I want to collect, and all the characters and all. So like there will be a percentage that are happy to pay for it, even if we get more for free, right? Love the shout out to all the greats. Well, you deserve one too. You always, hell, thank you, brother. Hey, that is much appreciated. Very much appreciated. I appreciate it. So I see so many Diablo content people having modded stashes to their showcase and their content. Yeah, absolutely, because that's the kind of the single player thing, and that's really what has largely turned me on to this. I've installed this inventory expansion mod into my single player, just basically so I can make videos easier for you guys and have more item availability to create builds and that sort of thing. And God, is it nice to have this much inventory space and a few more stairs. You don't even need massively more, but having this much is such a nice thing. It's so nice to have. It's just really nice. Archangel Pyriel says 100% agree. Please give us more inventory space. Even if it costs $1 million gold, I'd happily farm for it. Jimmy Holtzheimer. There we go. Says, I would like to have a currency tab. Yep, runes and gems and essences, absolutely. If we could only get that much and we could stack them, that would be enough for organization. That would be enough. I would like a little more, but that would technically be enough. A lot of the problem is gems and runes, which take up 2 full, stashes of their own, basically. Yeah, there's no reason not to give us, Harmsy says there's no reason why they can't give us more stash space. It just makes sense, right? Absolutely. GCT Filter Snake says, holy, I was thinking about this the other day. Someone make a petition, I'll 100% sign it. We want both inventory and stash, yeah. So more expanded inventory space. Now, I could kind of agree with this in the sense of perhaps having an inventory space which is for charms only, limited to the amount of charms we're currently able to hold, and then having a separate looting inventory. I think I wouldn't want to make it possible to have more charms than we're currently able to have. I think we could run into some serious balance issues. But other than that, having a separate charm and looting pickup inventory would be nice. You know, it would be nice. I wouldn't mind that either. You know, like I'd probably do what you guys do, right? I have my one. You guys probably you guys probably do this, right? Where you have your one additional space. I don't like to do that. I just have like enough space to pick up one biggest item in the game, and I use the rest for my charms, right? So it's basically pick up one thing. You know, either don't sell it, which is what I often do, or just throw it on, throw it on the ground, or haul it back and sell it. Maybe if I'm really hurting for Resurrection Bill Gold. Jamie Harris says, I just want items to stack. It would alleviate so much pain for me personally, because I pick up every single gem from chippies to flawless, and right, because you need chippies and you need flawless and you need the other ones to create higher runes and to do certain recipes and things like that. You can't really even hold on to these things to any sort of degree that they're useful in crafting, etc. Because having all the ones you need at the right time to basically craft them is kind of difficult, right? You're always juggling inventory space. Yeah, absolutely. Chris Jones says a currency tab where runes and gems would stack would be great. Yeah. So frustrating to have to. Yeah. I bought a whole second account just for muling, and actually I actually bought a whole second laptop just so I could more easily access those mules on that account. And that's how desperate I as probably the average Diablo player kind of feels, whether or not you buy a second account and a second laptop specifically to get inventory. Should we need to do that as players? Should that be within the realm of reasonable? I don't know. MS look, I'm not sure how to say your name, brother, but expanded stash for season pass seems reasonable. I like updates each season. Understand that the devs need to fund it all. Seems fair to me. All right. Smaller inventory, I think, has a psychological effect. If we have more space, might have unforeseen effects, maybe. Hard to say. Joseph Graham says, yes, thank you. I'm sick of not being able to keep good items. Yeah, just a few hours ago, I threw away a ton of good items myself. Just threw them on the ground because I don't want to do muling again. I've already got muling for my non-hardcore characters. I just don't want to do any more muling. It's just such a pain in the butt. Kaju Silva says, to be honest, all I need is a currency tab. Yep, personal stash. And increase personal stash from 1 to 3. Yeah, it would probably be enough. Agreed. That would probably be enough. PKEOD says they could do a Path of Exile and make us pay for it. I would be fine with that, honestly, and it would make and just make it actually as good as Path of Exile with all of the ways it has for sorting items with things like shared guild spaces too. Yep, I don't disagree with any of that. Deep Zen Phil says agreed, 100%. The ability to make infinite mules is why I only play single player now. Yeah, and having to make mules is really stupid for a game in 2022. Yeah. I don't know why it's a year since this game has been launched and we haven't got expanded stash or stackable currency. I do know why. The only explanation could be that they're trying to find a way to turn it into a transactional system. That's maybe a little more complicated than just saying, data entry, number of rows, number of columns, 10 by 10 grid, saying 15 by 18 grid, right? Yeah, I don't see how that could be complicated. Karen, I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name. I don't know. But says just expanded shared stash, double the number of tabs even. Otherwise, people would still load up on skiller or damage. Yeah, just expanded stash space. Yeah, agreed. So we can't have expanded personal inventory because we can't have too many charms that would throw balance out of whack. But the expanded stash, yeah. Anyway, basically, guys, I've gone through about 100 comments here, and I've seen maybe 1 or 2 that don't want stash. I think actually literally just 1. Everybody else seems very much on board with yes, please, expanded stash. Yes, please, right? You guys can see, right? Yes, please, yes, please. Please, God, yes, please. I will pay money for this. Just saying, right? Agreed, me too. Thank you, Bob Pope. Yeah, so anyway, that's a little update, you guys. Let's see how the poll is doing here today. Poll is doing, yeah, it's all right. So we're now almost 50-50 happy or willing to pay. 32% happy to pay, 11% willing to pay, and 58% wanting it, but not wanting to pay. So we're at 38 votes. I will do another video once we get I don't know how many votes are going to come in, probably a couple thousand. Well, and we're going to send this off to the devs. Hopefully the devs are watching, and I mean, I'm sure they're aware of the community's desire for this. Maybe we could get some response on this. Like I say, I started making Diablo content almost exactly 1 year ago when this game was launched. It is now almost 1 year later, and we've got some cool things like terrorized zones. I like to see new content. That's fun. Some new level 85 farming areas. We've got some Sunder Charms. We've got some tweaks to the skill system. We've got what I would consider to be considerably more complicated things than expanded stash. Please give us some expanded stash. Thank you. All right, GameSnob out.